Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Leadership Boy podcast. I'm Enrique, my co-host Vince. We have a special guest, one that's right down my plate. I love to eat. I love it. So today, a Central Florida vet, and Vince is going to introduce.
All right. Thank you, Enrique. Yes, I have the pleasure of introducing this young man. I had a conversation with us just a little while ago. Some food for thought, no pun intended, but the dynamic leadership that we have from Chef Rich Rosado, who is the founder of One Plate, which is a culinary school here in Central Florida. I just want to say thank you for being on the show, Rich, and tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I can't thank you guys enough. Thank you for having me. Thank you for allowing me to share my passion and my story with everybody. It's really an honor, so I appreciate that. I know how hard you guys work, and to allow me to come onto your platform is really an honor. So I appreciate that. Like you were saying, yeah, I've been a chef for about a little bit over 20 years now. So my career started at the Culinary Institute of America, and that's a cooking school in Hyde Park, New York. And I've been a personal chef to NBA All-Star Grant Hill. I was a chef instructor at Le Cordon Bleu. I've done cooking demonstrations and educational lectures for cancer patients as well as diabetes patients all over, as well as large corporations and hospitals and other medical facilities like that. Really utilizing food as your greatest medicine. And that's where we try to go and strive, is to educate the consumer that food is your greatest medicine, not any kind of pill or drug.
That's lovely. I just had a conversation with my brother about that because guess what? We got together and we ate a whole lot of food. But it's amazing how we have so many guests here, veterans, and it just makes us proud to see the variety of different places that they go and how they use their talents and gifts to serve the community after service. So tell us a little bit about One Plate.
So One Plate's mission is really to educate and empower consumers, to manage and reduce chronic illness, but again, by using food as medicine. All right, we encourage this through our TV cooking show. We have a cooking show. We have a book that I wrote. It's called Food is Our Greatest Medicine. And then our traveling live and virtual lectures and cooking demonstrations. My role in this whole thing is kind of just to make sure I stay centered and focused on the mission. That's our real thing. And everything we do is always backed by some type of peer-reviewed science. One of the things that I don't want people to think is I'm pushing, organic or this or that, because that's not my mission. My mission is just to make sure you get healthy. I have nothing, I have no dog in this fight. I just want not only you to be healthy, but I want your kids to be healthy. This is the first time in our history that, kids are actually suffering from adult diseases, which they shouldn't be suffering from. We have children that are suffering from type 2 diabetes and all these things where they really shouldn't be. And one of these things that you can contribute it to is the food that they're consuming.
Oh, absolutely. This is very much parallel because this month is Mental Health Awareness Month. And with that medicine of having the food, because there's folks that do not even have healthy food or food on their plate. So you being here and educating and understanding the value and the benefits of the medicine, which is our food, is very valuable. So thank you for doing what you're doing, have the vision to helping a lot of others. So how is One Plate currently doing, and how are you holding up in this current pandemic?
We're holding up well. I'd say that, but it always wasn't like that. The pandemic devastated our business when it first started. After working so hard and pushing and pushing and grinding so much, we were able to open our own cooking school. And this was going to allow us to hold classes there where people we can become really develop stronger relationships with our consumers, because they can come into our kitchens. They can cook with us, we can eat together, we can talk, we can really build these relationships. But unfortunately, we got caught up in the wave of COVID, and we didn't have the resources to stay open. So unfortunately, we had to close the doors. But I guess that kind of military mindset, was that, well, this is not the end. You know, I'm not going to, I put too much work into this. I'm not going out like this. I'm not going to let this stop my mission. So what we actually did is we taped some cooking segments prior to closing. We got some, you know, some people to help us out. We taped some cooking segments prior to closing, almost like a TV show. And what I did is I took that, and I really believed in our product that we had. I thought it was a really good show that we put together. And all I did is I shopped it around to different TV networks. And before I knew it, we had networks that were calling us wanting to air our show on their networks. So it kind of opened the door to allow us to kind of pick and choose which network that we wanted to. Now I'm a huge, like my core in my heart is all Jesus. So I'm a very strong Jesus follower. So it was very important on who we picked, you know, had to have kind of the same, I guess, foundation as what we believed in. You know, for me, it's more about the mission, not necessarily about making a ton of money and all these other things. You know, I'm more about mission focused, mission focused, mission focused. So for me, it was like, who can we align with that'll be able to put our show out and not tell us we can't say this or we can't do that, or I wasn't interested in that. So our TV show allows you know, consumers to really know more about us, and it gives us a national platform that we can demonstrate really how we can help. You know, how we can make health and nutrition easy, because currently it's an overly complicated process that generates $61 billion on all these diet scams and all these fad, you know, I call them magic pills and snake oils that they're pushing. It doesn't work. You know, you can look at all the stats and all the statistics and it'll tell you it doesn't work. Yet we continue to do it over and over and over. And what we do as consumers is, it's like we program ourselves to say, okay, this time is going to be different. You know, this time is going to be different. And what you'll see, studies show that when people make these decisions, 25% will quit within the first 2 weeks. You know, 25% of people that go on these like diet scams and fads will quit within the first 2 weeks. 50% will quit after the first month. So what happens is that up and down roller coaster, up and down, develops now what we call emotional eating, which really opens the door for chronic illness. So what we did is we developed our PCK program, which it's a simplified method that actually works. That's going to save you money, that's going to save you time, as well as caring for and preventing and reducing, you know, your risk for chronic illness.
You know, those stats, and we know, right? We always get this January 1st effect of life. Everybody has their goals, and most of those goals are health conscious type of goals. I'm not gonna eat that chuleta no more. I'm not, you know, I'm gonna stay off the pernil. You know, and for those that don't know the translation, that's pork chop and a whole lot of pork. And for Puerto Ricans, that's one of our kryptonites, right? So we, you know, there's so many things that we say, oh, we're not gonna do this, we're not gonna do that no more, and so true. It's that up and down cycle of really, you know, chronic type of decision making that really affects us. So you've mentioned the kind of the backdrop, the history, how you got here, and I'm loving every bit of it. But where are you guys headed? What's the future looking like for One Plate?
The future for One Plate is that, before I answer that, I want to just step back from one thing. One of the things that like in the research that we've done is just like what you said. You know, I'm Puerto Rican too, so I know the way we eat. You know, to come into my culture and to tell me I cannot eat this food is just setting me up for failure. And a lot of these diets are culturally insensitive, meaning that they'll just cut out whole blocks. So listen, you can't eat pork or you can't eat rice and beans anymore. Well, if you cut out rice and beans for a Hispanic diet, I mean, that's what else am I going to eat? I have nothing else to eat. You know, this is what we're based on, you know, food wise, culture wise. You know, so what we do and what differentiates us from everybody else is that we're professional chefs. You know, no one knows food and food culture better than us. I don't need to cut out pork or all these different things. We can work with it. We're going to cook it differently. We're going to add a little bit different ingredients into it. We're not going to use so much fat and salt and things like that. And then we're going to portion size it properly. There's no reason why you can't eat this. You can definitely eat this because this is going to make you successful, but we're going to tweak it a little bit just to make sure that, you're eating healthy, you're eating properly. No one says you got to pull up the whole thing and eat that whole entire chocolate cake. You want to have a little slice, go for it, have a little slice. Because the way it happens is 99.9% of American culture is we're strong for a little bit of time. I will withstand, that chocolate cake for a week, maybe 2 weeks. Eventually I'm going to break. And what happens when I break is now I overindulge. All right, now we overindulge, and then this is where we start to develop a lot of these chronic illness problems. We start to develop a lot of this emotional eating problems. Now I'm eating because I'm sad, depressed, upset, something in life is not going right. So I'm going to take it out and, make myself feel better with food. And this is where we have to change that, because that's not a sustainable thing. And it's showing. I mean, don't take my word for it. Look at all the studies. Look at the health of the country that we're in right now. All right, so back to your question. I'm sorry about that. So the future of one plate. I think the future of one plate for me is very exciting because we're changing the landscape of health in this country, and we're going to do it from our kitchens. I think PCK, what we developed our program, PCK stands for Preventative Care Kitchens. You can do everything from your kitchen. This is where it all starts from, is what you consume. You see a lot of these lopsided health insurance programs that will pay for gym memberships. Well, for an aging community or a community that's overweight and out of shape, to pay for a gym membership is not impactful, because my body as an overweight person can only take so much. But if I can control what I consume first, then what'll happen is I'll have a little bit more energy. And it's not about going to the gym and trying to do all these crazy workouts or like going to run a marathon. What it is, control your eating one plate at a time, and then go out and just maybe walk around the block for this whole week. Next week, I promise you, your body's going to feel better, and your body will dictate how far you can go. But we just have to listen to our bodies. What we try to do is override that and say, okay, I've been watching this video on YouTube, so I'm going to go out and run a marathon. Okay, well, that's not successful, because once your body can only take so much of this force, because you haven't been doing. So you're going from a couch to a marathon overnight, which is, it's not impossible, but it's very, very unrealistic, because your body can't take that. Your joints are going to start to hurt. Once you pull a muscle, and then it's a wrap, because now, you can't continue. Now I have to take 3 or 4 weeks off for this thing to rest and to recoup. And again, while I'm resting and recouping, I'm blaming myself for what happened. So what am I doing now? Now I'm going back to eating because I'm sad or depressed and I can't reach my goals. All right, so our brand is really synonymous with health and wellness. And we can be watched from every state, every county, every city in the country, through our TV show. And again, studies continue to show that overweight, unhealthy parents raise children that become overweight and unhealthy, and then they become parents who do the same thing. So you can see it's that vicious cycle that continues to go and go and go. So our PCK program really allows us to serve everything from the child, to the senior, not only for them, but for generations to come. And it's free. You get to take advantage of it on TV.
Absolutely. I just commend you because, this is so important to know. I call it magic on the plate, right? Because that all happens from what you consume. And a lot of it has to do, to your point, having the knowledge that school is important to have and understand. I mean, I was fortunate to learn a lot about this knowledge through different documentaries like The Forks Over Knives. And I looked at a lot of different ones just to make me understand the dynamics, how food is prepared and what's good and what's not. So, but I'm looking forward to joining your network and understanding more what you're doing and help me not hit that gym 20,000 times harder, but that plate even better. So thank you for that piece, Rich. So let's transition a little bit and talk a little about you and your leadership capabilities as we are here in the leadership void. So let's talk first. What professional development areas do you work on to improve your capabilities as a leader?
So I think professional development in me, I try to work them in 4 categories. So I have faith, business, self, and family. Those are my 4 categories that I really strive to make conscious decisions on. Okay, every day, this is what I'm going to do for this, and this. And I think it keeps me kind of like focused. So faith, I read my Bible every morning. And for me, what it does is it keeps my heart and mind focused on Jesus. All right, this allows me to make decisions that are morally based, not worldly based. All right, so I try to make decisions that are really, not only for me, but how can I help and serve others? Because I think as a leader, that's what your main thing is not for self, it's to help and serve others. And this whole business that we created is, I think it's more for that. It's really to really serve the community, serve the country as a whole. So that's our faith component. Our business component is I make sure to keep mastering my craft, and that's every day. So that's about the nutritional impact on food. I read a lot of peer-reviewed studies and articles about health and nutrition, because I want to make sure that I can, when we talk to consumers, not only do I know what their needs are, but I also know how I can like plug in, to their needs, all these things that I've just read and learned about, to make their lives a little bit easier, a little bit better. So it allows me to serve them better. And I think it also encourages us as a business to be more fluid. If we learned anything from this whole COVID experience, is as a business or as a leader, you have to be able to adapt. You cannot be so rigid. When I first started, it was very, very rigid. It was like, all right, this is how it's going to be. I'm not changing. I'm not doing anything. And then that mighty wind comes, and every oak tree is gonna move when that mighty wind comes. So, it was one of these things that we had to learn, and we had to learn it the hard way. But sometimes I think those are the best kind of learning experiences to have, is when you actually fall down and then say, okay, yeah, this didn't work. So I think as a business, we really need to stay, as long as our core values weren't compromised at all. I think as a business, we learned that we have to stay very, very fluid with it and kind of go with it. Myself is like, this is my me time, is where I come up with my personal goals for health and nutrition and fitness, what books I want to read or challenges I want to accomplish. What I notice is that a body that isn't challenged physically isn't really working at its full potential. And I use that same philosophy for the mind. You have to kind of guard what you put in your mind, because what comes out of it, if you don't guard it, if you don't protect what you put in there, what comes out of it is not going to be useful. It's not going to be kind of like in a forward moving motion, for where you want to be. So you want to make sure that one of the things I do is I want to make sure what I put in, I protect what I put in. So I don't watch certain things. I don't put in negative things. I keep that kind of negativity out and just keep it positive all the time. And especially as an entrepreneur, you need that positive punch daily. All right, it's like a vitamin. You need to have it every single day. And then my final one is family. Being on TV and being the face of the company, it's exciting. I mean, the first time I saw myself on TV, I guess it's a little kind of surreal. It is a little exciting, but it doesn't make like me the company. Like, in other words, my company is not everything in my life. Money comes and it goes, and business has its highs and lows, but family experiences are things that are permanent. And for me as a dad, those are priceless gifts that make me, that not only make me, but drive me to become a better father, a better husband, a better chef, and also a better business leader. Because I think you can't be one without having all those like kind of balanced out. They all help each other. So when one falls, I think they all kind of, topple, and it's one of the things for me. All 4 of them are really crucial. So I work on all 4 of these every single day.
Now that's a marvelous model to follow. You're speaking and I'm nodding. Yep, that's how you do it. That's how you do it. And Lord bless your endeavors there. So you have a background that we haven't spoken about yet, and it usually ends with a hoorah. But but as we talk in leadership, right, and you're sharing the model that you follow to make sure that you keep your professional development up, there are others that are coming up the ranks, right? They're coming up as what we would deem emerging leaders, right? Those that are coming up the and trying to find their way. What sort of advice did you get as you was growing up in leadership that you heard from leaders that has kept you, going? You say, yeah, I remember that you would like to share with those that are coming up now.
I mean, that's a great question. And I guess some of the best advice I got when I first started, I tried to be kind of everything to everyone. So it was like, okay, this person wants me to be this. Okay, I'm going to try to be this. So this person wants to be this. I'm going to try to be this. And what I found out is it never worked because one, I never remembered who I was for this person or that person or this person. And I wasn't being true to myself. All right, so probably I have three things that were kind of stuck with me the whole time. The first one was be yourself. Don't try to be someone else. Stay honest and true to your beliefs and your values. And one of the things I've seen is you're going to lose some people when you're honest to your beliefs and your values, which I'm okay with. In the beginning, it was a little rough, but what I noticed was a lot of these people that were getting cut off weren't really helping me move forward. The ones that were the ones that were stayed were really the ones that believed in what I believed in, and really truly had an investment in me that wanted me to move forward. So those are the ones that you really want to keep around your circle. The second was don't rush the process. Leadership is growth, and growth is maturity, and maturity takes time to develop. But what I've noticed also is as our business grew, I don't know if I was ready to lead at that level. So I think your business can only go as high as you're ready to go with it. So one of the things that I truly believe in is God gives you kind of like steps and stages to go through in order to grow that business. So I had to get through different maturity levels and really understand different processes and get to certain areas. Okay, I'm going to make $1 million. I'm going to go out and buy a Rolls Royce right away. Well, it's kind of that's pretty dumb. You know what I'm saying? So and for me, it was like, okay, that's ridiculous. I'm not going to spend all this money because it's not necessary. That's a maturity thing right there. All right. And then the final one was, don't make emotional decisions. Make sure all your decisions are really thought out. As an entrepreneur, you're going to hit a lot of different decisions and things that come up and challenges that face you that it's really easy to make emotional decisions. And when I first started, we made a ton of emotional decisions that were all wrong. All right. So one of these things that I learned is, yeah, you have to really start thinking about the process first, and then thinking about, okay, this challenge, how can I manipulate it to be a positive thing, not a negative thing?
I love that. So I wrote down, be yourself, don't rush the process, and don't make emotional decisions. That's some great advice for these emerging leaders out there. And you transition, talk a little bit about challenges. So let's talk about that. How do you handle challenges? You kind of mentioned early on the military prepared you for some current challenges you were facing. So how do you handle challenges you face or currently facing?
And again, yeah, like I was saying, I've made hundreds of bad decisions. I mean, if there was like a roadway that you can go straight and make good decisions, and there was potholes on each side, I had the ability to hit every pothole, for a bad decisions, even the ones that were kind of like invisible. I was able to say, seek them out and make sure I made those decisions, that were poor. So the challenges would be, a lot of these challenges bring fear and anxiety. And for me, what I would do is once this fear and anxiety came up, I would react to them. And it was that reaction to the emotion that was making me make these bad decisions. So it's one of the best things that I saw was taking these challenging opportunities and thinking of them as positive opportunities. It wasn't a challenge anymore. It was a positive opportunity. And once you can change that mindset to thinking, okay, this is a negative thing to it's a positive thing, you can open up this and this and this door, you start to think of it differently. And then I start to react differently to challenges now because they're not full of fear and anxiety. Now they're a little exciting. Okay, this is a new opportunity. How can I do this? Just like when we closed our cooking school, obviously that was devastating for us, because of all the work that we put into it. We weren't even to open I think we were open maybe a month before they permanently shut us down. So obviously, I mean, it was devastating for us, but it was one of these things. Okay, I can, I can throw a pity party and let it last forever, or I can kind of refocus and say, okay, what can we do? How can we make this better? All right. So one of the things we say, okay, we can make it better by let's just try this. We have nothing to lose. Let's try this, but we can't give up. So taking it from one mental exercise to another is where I think a lot of, especially entrepreneurs and especially military, gives you that mindset to say, okay, there's always a plan B. All right, this is okay with this is then, it went down. We can, this plan B, let's make it roll. We can make this happen, but we just can't give up. Giving up is permanent, but as long as we keep moving, we can make this happen.
Well, I'm so glad you didn't throw the pity party, because those usually turn into petty parties, right? But and so happy that you guys were able to strategize around those challenges and find a way away from the potholes and into the straight, narrow path. So congratulations on that. Talk about strategies, right? Undoubtedly, 2021, 2020 threw a lot of challenges, but they also threw a lot of change opportunities for all of us. How do you strategize around those times of change, and how would you advise to go forward through those periods?
So I'm not sure, like it's a strategy, but one of the things I've learned and I try to do now all the time is stay in my lane. Right. And for like for beginning leaders, sometimes this could be the biggest challenge for them. And it's like a self-challenge. Excuse me. And what I mean by that is that I've learned a lot about business, uh, and I'm good in areas, but I wouldn't consider myself an expert in certain areas. So when it comes to food, nutrition, in my areas of expertise, I shine. This is my lane. This is what I know how to do. This is what I'm very good at. Right. This is where I'm going to take over and, I'll do my thing. But when it comes to other areas like social media, marketing, advertising, those aren't my expertise areas. So what I try to do is build a team around me that are experts in those areas. So, and this is more of an exercise, I think, especially for a young entrepreneur. This is more of an exercise of trust and support. I've seen so many leaders that can't remove themselves, from every little nuance of the business. And what happens is the business tends to collapse, or it doesn't grow like it really could or should. So as a former Marine, what's important for me is, it's crucial parts of the mission are successful. So we want to make sure that we have team members that buy into the mission, that are wholeheartedly buying into the mission. And then we have got to, as a leader, we have to foster and, foster that fire and keep that passion, for them, so they can be the very best they can be. And it's about kind of letting go and letting them do, okay, this is your area of expertise. You take care of this, I'm going to take care of this. And as a team, and that's where, a lot of leaders, I think, and especially beginning leaders, think it's about me. It's I am the team. No, you're not. The team is a whole group of people that will get you, to successful missions. So as a leader, one of the things I do is try to let people, work on, obviously you're the leader, you have the final say in everything, but I'm going to let this person do what they do best in their area of expertise and really guide me to where we think, as a team, we should go. Because again, it's not about me, it's about the mission and the team. We all get there, we're all successful, we can help as many people as we can. Me trying to do everything, that's not what it's about. That doesn't make for a successful mission.
Absolutely. You want to go far, have a team of trusted individuals that will support you, because it's true, as a CEO coming up and growing at the first endeavor, you have all kind of hats you're wearing, but it will help if you do have that support and that trusted allies that know that lane and know your lane. So totally agree with that strategies. Thank you for these great pearls of wisdom. if folks are listening in our audience and want to know more about how to contact you, Rich, or contact One Plate, what do they do or how they reach out to you?
Probably the best way is to go to our website, and that's at www, the number one, the letters PL and the number 8.com. So that's oneplate.com. And the reason we came up with that name is, again, health and nutrition should be done one plate at a time. Or you can look at study after study after study and see that people that try to make these big drastic changes in diet and health are not successful. All right, you last maybe a month, the longest, and then you drop off and you're back in the same thing. But if we make these changes one plate at a time, you'll see before you know it, you're eating 2 plates healthier, 3 plates, and before you know it, you're actually eating very healthy meals, and your body is going to kind of recoup all those benefits from it, and you'll see health getting better and better and better down the line. So you can research at Facebook at One Plate Chef by Chef Rich, or on Instagram at One Plate Chef.
Outstanding. And folks, we're going to have that as part of the show notes also in the video. So we'll put that in there, and you guys can get in touch with Chef Rich. Thank you so much for the time that you have shared with us. And it's been enlightening. And if you want to get a hold of us, the leadershipvoid@gmail.com is our email address. If you have folks that you want us to talk to, interview, or topics dealing with leadership that you want us to tackle, by all means, send us an email and we'll be glad to answer that, as well as anything that you would like for us to wear. We wear our shirts. That's our brand, but we would love to support veteran-owned businesses out there by wearing their shirts or drinking from their mugs, whatever they may be. So thanks for being with us, Chef, and it's been enlightening.
Thank you so much. It's truly an honor, that you allowed me to, come in here and share, my thoughts and passion with everybody. I truly appreciate it. God bless you all.
Yes, and for those listening in, I hope you tune into his network and have magic on that plate, because it will help you in the long run. We will continue to whet your appetite with another dynamic speaker this in the Florida area. Talk about food as well. So stay tuned for next week. Also, the 1st and the 15th, we have our radio check at 7 o'clock. We have a special treat. We're going live since it is Mental Health Awareness Month. We're going to be with the nonprofit organization that was on our show, Combat Canines, to talk about them and what the great things they do, offering service dogs for vets with disabilities at no cost. So we will be there on the 15th Saturday at 1900 hours. And lastly, Enrique, what do we have for our guests to know about?
Yes, we also have this book from our friend up in New York, Scott McGregor, Standing O Salute. And what this book is for, and he's been so generous, is that we're actually giving it away as a prize to one of the next subscribers to our YouTube channel. So we're around 130 something right now. We're looking to get to 200, which is the next goal. So one of those subscribers between now and 200 will be getting that signed, autographed copy of Standing O Salute.
And thank you, Rich, again. Great job what you're doing nationally, internationally, man. We look forward to seeing your show and be part of your show live one day.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.